But really pleased to welcome Harry Enright to the programme. Just, what, a couple of months shy of the 18th, Harry?
Yep, just a couple of months shy. Doing well with the riding at the minute. Got a massive story ahead of us, as I think everyone is getting now to see. There's a lot happening. We've got loads of arms, ideas happening. Yeah, it's exciting.
Just so those of you who haven't seen the news this week and not familiar with it, and Great British Racing have released a really good video charting your journey from when you started riding at the British Racing School to now. And as people know, you were born with just one hand, just born with your right hand, so no left hand. And it's something that there's no explanation for. That's just the way it was. Yeah, that's right, isn't it?
Just the way I was born. I never, from a very young age, never been told that I was born with anything to cause this or anything as such. Yeah, I was just born like it. I just still crack away with it. And
you're a London guy, you're from South East London.
Yeah.
What got you into riding? What started the love of horses?
Well, I've loved the way the animals had looked from a very young age, and the way they move is just completely unreal. Yeah, sat on a donkey over an island, as you probably have seen from the video. Yeah, and it sort of just kicked on from there, and had to find my path somewhere I wanted to go, and I chose horse racing, obviously, because who doesn't like the thoroughbreds? That's
amazing. So it was one sit on a donkey in Ireland. It was just that feeling of...
Just the feeling of the way they move, the legs, the way they shake their heads, the breathing. It just kicked away from there for me.
You're obviously quite a natural athlete. You've got a great sort of shape to be a rider as well. Were there other sports that could have been on the agenda? I did play
a lot of football when I was young. A lot of my family are football people, so they love to go to a few of the games, or love to watch it at home. Yeah, just kicked around for a little bit with football. Then I had an injury on a push bike, sadly. Now I damaged my knee, so I didn't end up playing no more, and carried on with the horse side of things, and weren't very good, to be fair, at football, I will say.
But you're clearly doing much better riding. We ought to just tell everyone that for some inexplicable reason, even though you're from South East London and nearly all of your extended family support Millwall, somehow you're a Spurs fan.
Yeah, I'll blame that one on my dad. Yeah, he sort of didn't make us, but had like this little teaser saying that this team was a bit better than that team. So yeah, it was like a family little aggression, whose team's better.
So when you said to your parents, I think I'm going to go and try and be a jockey, what was their reaction?
It was a very bland reaction, and what I thought it would have been, to be fair. Yeah, just went up to my mum one day and turned around and said, "Look, I want to do this." And she was like, "All right then, you got to find out a place where you can do it though, and you got to learn. You got to start really getting into it, otherwise it just won't fall through." And yeah, I started riding at the local riding stable. Yeah, just learning the basics. I did that for about 4 years. Carried on riding the basics, and then eventually I just thought, we've got to step up a little bit. These guys have taught me everything they know, so got to step up on the game.
And evidently you've always been able to adapt in terms of, we were talking about riding bikes, and you've just had your moped from the VRS, and I was saying, do you need anything to help you steer? No, you've always adapted just using your right hand. But obviously, riding a horse, it's a little bit different. So when did you realise that something a little bit more drastic was needed if you were going to have to realise your ambition to be a jockey?
With things like you're saying, like the bikes and everything like that, all those, I would say, challenges in my sake, they are hard. Like normal average life can be hard with certain things of what I'm doing, but majority of the time it's all 100%, and I'll find a way through it, and just keep going with it.
Yeah, because I sense when you said challenges like that, you don't really see it as a challenge, do you?
Yeah, I don't see anything really as a challenge for me. if I see the challenge, it's like a fence at the Grand National. It's a big fence, but if you want something that bad, you just got to jump it and send it.
And this is just a big fence because it's just a practicality, isn't it?
Yeah, this is just we've got this little piece here. This is only a prototype at the minute.
So this is what's been designed by Andrew Braithwaite, who's the finance director at the British Racing School. But we're going to hear from Andrew in a few moments' time. But this has been a labour of love for him, hasn't it?
Yeah,
really,
yeah,
designing a prototype prosthesis, so you ultimately might be able to ride in races.
Yep. Hopefully, well, that's the end goal anyway. But yeah, Andrew's loves messing around with the arm, exploring new things on it, making sure it works 100% each time, and yeah, now we've got to where we are now. I can't thank him enough, to be honest.
Well, you're going to get your opportunity in a few moments' time, but are you going to demonstrate it for me?
Yes, I shall demonstrate. So, this right here is it's like a latex glove, and it just slips on the arm, just rolls on like that, and I do have to make sure it's on there sometimes. Just give it a run up the arm, and then this is the arm. And
that's then pretty secure, isn't it?
So this little piece on the end, it's like a homemade screw sort of thing, and
so if I pulled that now, it wouldn't.
Oh yeah,
I can pull that pretty hard, and that won't come. That's just not going to come off at all, is it?
Tug of war on TV. Yeah. So this little piece on the end here, that will in the end of the arm, there's like a lock system in there, this is the release for it. This small little button there. I just plugged my arm in, and you heard a click. There's another 2, another 3, and now I'm ready to rock and roll.
So so what the metal on the end, the metal drum on the end, what's that doing?
So this is the magnet. To be fair, it's quite warm. This is the magnet. It's been holding a ridiculous amount of horses lately. I'm surprised it hasn't completely just gone to scrambles. Yeah, it works. It's comfortable. It's actually quite a heavy piece. This is actually taking most of the weight of the whole entire arm itself. This is, if the magnet was not on here, this would be. It's so light. This is silicone cone, so this basically weighs nothing compared to.
What I want to know is, how does this feel to your upper body? Are you feeling in your left shoulder and through your left upper arm? Are you feeling that you're having to carry something much heavier there than you are with your right hand?
I mean, from the first time that I rode it. Yeah, I was. It felt like I just had something in my hand, or a shopping bag in my hand, for about 25 minutes to an hour, and this was when my arm wasn't actually fully adapted to this, and yeah, it just was really heavy, and then I just kept riding, hoping and praying that that pain would just ease off and calm down a little bit, and thank God it did, and it's no different for the shoulders. All the muscles are working with it, so
it's just taken your brain a while to train itself to learning how to use it?
Yeah. It's just taken a little bit of time just to get used to, and it's basically just gone from there.
And this has all been designed by Andrew in his spare time and put together by him. And so just tell us the sort of safety aspect of it, if you like, how this all works.
So this is the piece that I have on the reins. I constantly forget the name of it, but it's used for climbing. The reins are just normal rope. We've got some leather on the end of it, just so that sits by the bit. My arm will go in this cup.
Yeah.
And when the arm goes in the cup.
So that's what holds the reins.
Now that's locked in there,
yeah.
And that's not going to break at all.
No.
That is on there.
But then I can hear everybody at home thinking, well, what if you fall?
So if I fall off, this little piece here, we've got this. This will sit on my leg, just below my knee. And this is the weight cloth that we have under the saddle with the battery in here. And as soon as I a horse throws a party trick for me, I will just, if it wants to pop off,
it'll naturally come
it will
apart.
just naturally come apart just like that, and I'm a free man.
How does it feel when because you've been riding a while now,
Yeah.
and you've ridden plenty of flighty horses who've done all the party tricks.
Yeah.
So when you do come off and when you do get dropped, does it feel quick? Does it feel natural?
Yeah, it's quick and snappy. There's once the circuit's broke, it's broken. Like it just cuts out completely, and I'm able to be free. The horse can move itself away and sort himself out a little bit, and then hopefully come back to me and carry on with what we're meant to be doing.
How many hairy moments have you had?
I've had quite a few, to be fair. I've had 3 in 1 hour on one horse, the same one. Yeah, there's been quite a few. I haven't had many, to be fair. I've only ever had like 10 drops in.
But are you finding are you finding sort of riding more difficult horses and putting yourself into challenging situations, is that helping your confidence with all of this as well?
Yeah, it's just as I say, it's like a challenge. You just got to push through it, and if you want to get better and better at something, you've only got to put yourself in for the grind, you know, and you've got to keep pressing on with it.
I was quite struck earlier on when you said your mum had given you quite a kind of vanilla response to saying I want to be a jockey. But is that the key partly, that if you ever say to your mum, I want to do X, she just goes, yeah, OK, great, get on with it? There's never oh, you've only got one hand, how are you going to do that?
No, yeah, mum's 100%. She knows, obviously from having me from a young child, she knows everything I can do, which is basically everything. If I ask her, can I go and do X, Y and Z, she'll just say, yeah, we'll sort it out, we'll go and do it, we'll organise it, and we'll sort it out properly. And obviously go and do what we need to do.
Now, here you are with your folks at the BRS?
Yep, that's my folks. Brushing off the horse there. That horse actually is well behaved. He's the most safest horse I've ever ridden in my entire life.
And what's he called?
His name's Deviation. He's never ran before. He's not a proper racehorse, but
proper schoolmaster.
Yeah, he's a proper schoolmaster for things like this, I would say, to be fair. He knows his job.
And I'm guessing that even though there's a lot of specialist work going into trying to get you on a racehorse and trying to get you in races, I'm sensing you're the sort of person who doesn't really want any special treatment.
No, yeah, I'm not. I mean, I've had people ask me, would you rather this, would you rather that, do you need help with this, do you need help with that? And I've always turned around and said, I'll be cool, there's no problems. I just get on with it, really. There's no turning ways around it.
And a lot of the people I've spoken to in here of late who have started riding and not from a racing background, you sort of ask why, and they just say it feels natural to be on a horse. It's funny how some people are just wired like that.
Yep, that's it. As soon as I got on, it was just a natural thing that I stuck with, and didn't want to stop it, to be honest. As you say, when the horse is moving, oh, it's crazy. The breathing underneath, and you just talk to them, they relax, drop their heads a little bit, and you just float away nicely, just going up nice and steady up the canter.
And that is a perfect illustration exactly of how this works. So, how many stages off putting something like this into a race riding scenario do you think we are? Because obviously this is in development, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Not too sure, to be honest. Just thought, throw it in, see what happens. Never thought like it would have gone like this, but yeah, that's a bit of a tough one, to be honest.
Well, I spoke to Work in Progress, and the man responsible for putting this all together is, as I say, Andrew Braithwaite, who is the finance director of the British Racing School and is with us now. Morning, Andrew.
Morning, Nick, and morning, Harry. Good
morning.
to see you.
How much pleasure do you take from seeing Harry riding with this contraption that you've brilliantly designed?
Yeah, huge amount of pleasure, Nick. I think that's a really good word. Harry's just been a pleasure to be around and to have at the racing school right from day one. And I think good lesson for everyone. If you're likable and you're determined, then people will want to help you out. And that's certainly been the case with Harry. So yeah, it's been great fun.
Well, you've done more than help. You've potentially changed his life and the lives of an awful lot of other people who may, in due course, want to ride competitively with prostheses. This is very much something in development. How did you come up with all the bits and pieces and the ideas? Are you an inventor? Are you a bit of a mad scientist?
I don't think so. I don't think I could claim to be an inventor, but rode a bit myself as an amateur. So when Harry sort of appeared on the scene with us at the racing school, and he'd done a little bit of work with Dorset prosthetics already, and I just felt sort of the line they were going down was perhaps never going to quite work as well as it needed to. So yeah, just got thinking, and the aim from the get-go really was to try and find a solution for Harry that. So all the adaptation was with Harry, and the horses didn't need to adapt to him in any way, because you know, obviously to succeed in racing you need to you know, stable staff are riding loads of different horses every week and every year, and the race horses can't adapt to you. You need to adapt to them. So yeah, we just got started, and trial and error really.
But I mean, this is quite complex engineering. I and almost everyone I know watching this programme wouldn't even know where to start. So clearly this is something you've got to have a gift for. You've got to have vision and real understanding of the ergonomics of it, I guess.
Yeah, well, I think it could, because I'd ridden a bit myself. I understood what we were aiming at in terms of how you want to hold a set of reins, and so kind of had in my head what we needed, but didn't really know how to do it. And it was actually just through speaking to mates really that we got there. And big bit of credit to a lady called Vanessa Cashmore, who aside from being a genius academic and well on the way to proving that female jockeys are actually as good, if not better, than males, she's also massively into her climbing. And so I spoke to her, and she was actually in Chamonix at the time, and just sent back a video saying, this is the piece of kit that you need, and that's the piece of kit that Harry's just shown to you there. And once we had that, we sort of knew that the holding the reins would work. So then we just sort of moved on to trying to find a way of fitting it onto the prosthetic, and then another solution to making it safe. And yeah, you say a lot of people wouldn't know where to start, and I think we didn't either. We just started, and kind of made it up as we went along. And you know, we've got to a decent prototype now, and the key is just to keep making it better.
I won't spare the blushes of Harry. If it hadn't been for somebody as sort of willing and as likeable as him, I don't suppose it would have been quite such an enjoyable process, would it?
No, I think it was everyone likes Harry, which helps a huge amount. But the other key thing was that we could all see the instructors and the coaches up at the racing school, myself, we could all see that Harry could ride. You know, so it wasn't a case of trying to come up with something and then well, actually the person you designed it for didn't ride well enough to make use of it. You know, Harry did clearly ride well enough, and I said to Harry, so half joking one day, but one of the advantages of learning to ride without a hand is that you have to use your legs. We see a huge amount of people who ride too much with their hands and don't use all the other aids that you've got as a human being. But Harry didn't have that luxury when he was starting out, so in terms of his basic riding, it's probably helped him a little bit, you know.
Yeah, and it's really the practicality of needing that extra support on the rein now. So what's the next step, Andrew? Do you want somebody now to look at your prototype, look at where you've got to, and put now a sort of further raft of investment into it in order that it's sort of, you know, less cumbersome, I suppose, and more kind of adaptable to a race riding scenario?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. We could really do with some professional help now at this stage, and you know, it's essentially the whole piece of equipment, the whole device needs to be far lighter and far more robust to stand up really to the rigors of racing. And you know, I'm sure Harry looks after it really well, but there may be the odd time he's rushing between lots and he sort of throws it down a little bit quickly, you know. And it's busy, isn't it, at Lawney's and all other racing yards? You've got to come and go, get on and off loads of different horses in the morning, and all your equipment needs to be really strong and really robust. And Harry has to have absolute confidence that the kit's not going to let him down. So yeah, we could do with professional, whether that's someone from a motor racing team or Formula One or an electrical engineering firm or something, but just somebody who isn't just popping off down to Screwfix and trying this and trying that like I was. It needs to be done properly now.
You're very modest, Andrew. I think what you've done by nipping off down to Screwfix, it's got the potential to change so many people's lives in the future. And I'm just keeping my fingers and toes firmly crossed for you and for Harry that somebody will come along and say, right, let's take this, move it to the next level. Harry, is there anything you want to say to Andrew before I let him go?
Top stuff. Love it.
There you are. That's the best endorsement you're going to get, Andrew. Thanks so much for chatting to me this morning.
Thank you, Nick, and good luck, Harry.
Cheers. See ya.
Yeah, he's a top man who's put a hell of a lot of time and effort into this, and clearly that's not lost on you.
No chance. The time, I didn't ask for his time or anything like that. All he did was that email to my mum, and we sort of made tracks from there, and it hasn't stopped, and the journey's still going.
The journey's well and truly still going. Andrew mentioned Lawney Hill. Lawney's here with you this morning, and she's helped you enormously, hasn't she?
Oh yes, 100%. She's my boss, but also like a mother. Really looking after me, making sure that making sure that it's all eased out for me, so I know what I have to do straight away in the mornings, what needs doing, what all the essential sides. Just making the life a bit smoother for me, and if I'm struggling with any sort of stuff or any other horses that are being real keen for no reason, or she'll help out with that. She helps out the best that she can. To be fair, she's busy as ever with what she does, and fair play to her.
Now, I know you are very ambitious, but I know also you are a realist. What is your target? Have you got some timeline in your own mind as to when you think you might be walking out of that wearing room in a set of silks?
I would, as much as I would love to say now, we are far from getting in those silks and walking out the tack from, like you say. I would personally give it a good, I'm probably going to just take it on a little bit more, just keep progressing until we've reached the limit and until we can't do a whole lot with it. I mean, there's always going to be things to improve with the arm and in my riding and with me and myself and everyone else that I work with. But yeah, I'm just going to keep going and see what happens in the next couple of years, I would say.
So just keep developing this, keep working with Andrew, hopefully get more people on board, take it to the next level, keep working on the riding, and fingers crossed in
a couple of years' time we may be out in the silks.
It's been an incredible journey to this point now, but I kind of feel like we're only getting started. It's been an absolute pleasure to meet you, Harry.
Yeah. Very
best of luck with it, and thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Harry Enright. We will follow his journey very closely, and thanks to Andrew Braithwaite as well for all his hard work. And make sure you do get in touch with us if you've got any ideas as to how we can all help this project move forward, because it's been a brilliant collaborative effort on the part of so many people in the sport so far. So much more to enjoy after this break. Subscribe to Racing TV to be notified when more Luck on Sunday videos are appearing online. And don't forget to join me for the show every Sunday morning from 9 o'clock with the best guests.